Hey everyone, I hope everyone is having a good day. I am gonna post this comment. Oh, bam! I just added it as a pinned comment without even flipping the camera around. I'm proud of myself. So today I'm going to be chatting with some of the Miss Teen 2020 contestants about the importance of voting. Just because it is an election year and also being a teen representative, I think it is so important to vote because I feel as though students don't feel like they have a say when they actually do. And even if they're not at the age to vote yet, which is 18, they still have a say and they still can have influence. So that's why I just think it's so important for teens to get out there to get themselves educated and to go out and vote. Just for a little background information, I actually registered to vote before I was 18. When I got my driver's license, I was able to register at the DMV before 18. So then when I did turn 18, everything just kind of went together, if that makes sense. Like I was automatically registered, which was fantastic. And when I first went to vote for my very first time, the people there kind of like looked at me weird because they were like, oh my goodness, like, oh, you're here. Like I'm like a young person that's voting. They're like, oh, get your friends to come out. So I think it's something that a lot of people, when you're registering, don't see as somebody young going to vote. So I think it's important and you can have your voice heard. But to cut to it, today I'm talking with three teens. The first is Samantha Sorelli. She's Miss Connecticut Teen USA, and I'm excited to chat with her and ask her a few questions. I hope I said her name correctly because I'm bad with the last names. We know this by now with all of these lives.
Hi,
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing good as well. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking
Of
forward to
course.
speaking with you.
So during high school, you worked on a political campaign. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how you started with that job?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a funny story. My mom found the internship for me because this guy came up to her and he was kind of passing out flyers saying that he was running for state representative of our town. And
Mhm.
my mom was like, well, my daughter wants to, major in political science one day, and I know she'd definitely be interested. Do you need an intern? So I was able to start that internship. It was a really fun opportunity for me because I had never really understood kind of what goes on behind the scenes of a political campaign.
Mhm.
So being able to do that, I was able to kind of see like, go to campaigns. I was able to go to a debate that was hosted in my town hall. I was able to, hear different like calls. I was, sending out flyers and letters, just raising awareness. And I learned a lot about the different issues that are really important in my
Mhm.
town.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you also interned for a probate judge in Connecticut. Connecticut. What's a probate judge, first of all, because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so the probate court will handle it handles a bunch of different stuff, but basically, like if someone passes away, like it'll handle things like wills. They do a lot of work with that, and like breaking that up, like trusts, all
Okay.
that sort of work.
All right. So you you mentioned that the entire staff was all women.
Yeah.
So what did that mean for you to work with all women?
For me, it was something that I think is really, really powerful because I feel like so many industries are just male dominated.
Mhm.
So just being able to work at a all-female court, I mean, even the little puppy was a girl,
Mhm.
it really showed to me, what female leadership is and that, as someone who is an aspiring human rights lawyer, this is something that I can do one day. I can have, I can be a judge. I can, open my own law firm and nothing can stop me just because I'm a woman. So it was a very powerful thing to see.
Oh, that is amazing. And so, as you mentioned, I know you are majoring in economics and political science, correct?
Yes.
So what was it that you just touched on that you want to do with that in the future?
Yeah, so right now I'm planning on doing a double major in political science and economics with a minor in human rights. I want to one day go on to law school and be a human rights lawyer because I've always wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. I come from a country, Albania, where women don't have a voice. And I really just want to be their voice. And I want to be a voice for so many people here in the United States who unfortunately don't have rights. And as a human rights lawyer, I'm also hoping to open up my own human trafficking organization in Albania as well as here in the United States, because as a lawyer, I feel like you have so much jurisdiction, so much power to really help fight for others. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do with the future. Fingers crossed. It's a lot of schooling, a lot of tests.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. And that's
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing and inspiring. And I love that you're choosing that path so you can make a difference.
Thank you.
With everything going on, and what this live is really about is encouraging young people to get out and vote. Yeah. So what's kind of a word of advice, and why do you think it's so important for young people to go out and vote?
Yeah. So I know that as teenagers, we probably think we don't have as much of a voice, but it's so important to remember that, yes, we do have a voice, and that this is a privilege that we should take advantage of. The right to vote is not something that everyone around the world has. My family, I'm a first generation American, and my mom grew up in a communist country where if you stood up to the government, you were silenced and punished. People were jailed. And so if you are here if we're living here in the United States, we're in the country with freedom. It's important to take advantage of that. Find someone, research all the people that are running for office, see which one aligns most with you, and just go out and vote, because you are making a change in your world. And it's just so important. And it's a very, very special privilege we have here as American teenagers.
Oh, well, that was excellent advice. And thank you for sharing and chatting with me today. And I wish you the best of luck with your new double major and your minor as well, going to college. Or you're in college, right?
Yeah, no, I'm going to be a sophomore now.
Oh, really?
Yes, a sophomore at Trinity College. I am my college announced that it is going to be in person in the fall, but we'll see how it all goes. It's going to be a lot of work, but looking forward to it. Nothing comes easy.
Well, all right. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for chatting with me today.
Thank you so much, Kaylee. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Well, that was a wonderful conversation. And next we're going to have Miss Vermont Teen USA. I don't want to say a name wrong. Kiara Pipeling. I believe that is the correct pronunciation. There we go. And yeah, I'll add her in. Also, a quick little side note, there was a squirrel on the tree that's right outside my window, and it was just sitting there and chilling, and I thought it was cute. But I am going to add her in, and we're going to get to chatting with her. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So did I pronounce your name right? Could you pronounce your name for me? Because I feel bad if I ever butcher names.
It's Kira Pipeling.
Kira. Okay, Kira. I was making 2 syllables. Okay. So first off, congratulations. I know that you graduated valedictorian of your class, right?
Yeah.
That is an amazing accomplishment. So what did that mean to you, graduating as the valedictorian?
It was amazing. My freshman year, I definitely struggled a lot, but I set my goal as to get into the National Honor Society and then graduate as the valedictorian. And when they announced my name this year at our assembly as the valedictorian, I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, when everything with COVID started, I was like, I'm not even going to get to give my speech. But then our school actually was able to give a really normal graduation because I only have about 15 kids in my class.
Oh,
and so when our governor extended the limit of people to 25, we were like, okay, well, we could actually sit outside our cars and have a real-ish graduation. So it was really nice to be able to give my speech and everything.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad you were able to do that. So, what, just a general question, what else can you tell me and other people watching about yourself?
So I go to a really small school in Vermont, as you might be able to tell, since there was only 15 kids in my graduating class. I am going to Averett University in Virginia for nursing, and I hope to become a labor and delivery nurse with a specialty in the NICU.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's like, I love babies so much. So, like,
Me
that's
too.
perfect. I love that. And I wish you luck with that because I know it's difficult.
Yeah, I'm so excited though. I love kids.
Yeah, me too. So something about you that stood out in your bio is that you developed the trait of acceptance and you learn that it's okay to be different. Can you expand on that, especially in terms of growing up in a school where you were one of the only African American students?
So basically, when I was a kid, so like kids don't really see any differences, and so I kind of wanted my whole life to be like that because I was the only African American in my school for a very long time, and it was just this year when we actually got the second African American in my high school. And so it was really different. My mom definitely had to like explain why I looked different than other kids, but my school was so accepting of me. I never got bullied for the way I looked, and I'm just so grateful about everything that this community has given to me, because if I've heard stories about kids from other schools getting bullied because of their skin color, and I just am so grateful that that didn't happen to me.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I completely understand because I went to a majority all white school
Yeah.
as well. So I understand how it can be a little challenging at times.
Yeah.
But in terms of acceptance, and you saying that's a trait that you learned to develop, how do you take that into the real world? And do you try to like spread that message? Like, how does it help you navigate through your everyday life?
So I just really try to think about how everybody has their differences. Like, I am adopted, so that's another thing that makes me different. And then I was also the only African American in my school. And so I basically thought of it like, if they were able to accept me, why can't I accept everybody else for their differences too?
Mm-hmm.
And I like to spread that to other people who are being negative about other kids, because it's some things like you can't even control and
Yeah.
with your life. And so just being able to accept them for their differences is just going to make everybody's lives so much happier, and I love being happy, so I want everybody else around me to be happy too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So in light of everything in current events right now, why do you think it's important for young people to, one, register to vote, and two, to actually go out and vote?
I just think that I love talking. Talking is one of my favorite things to do. And so I think everybody needs to get comfortable with speaking their mind and just going out there and doing what they love and expressing their beliefs. And so being able to go out and vote is a big thing in my life. Even though I haven't even been able to do that yet, I definitely make sure that I try to keep up to date with politics and stuff, just to make sure that I am making the correct decisions for my life too. And I'm not choosing beliefs that maybe don't actually go with who I am.
Yes, I agree with that. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, and I wish you the best of luck with nursing school. That's going to be a ride, and congratulations again on graduating valedictorian.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for chatting. I'll talk with you later.
Bye.
Well, that was a wonderful conversation with Kiara. Next we have Miss Kansas Team USA, Sierra. I don't want to pronounce her last name because I will butcher it again. I'm pretty sure I butchered Miss Vermont Team USA's name again. I'm bad with the names. It's just the whole eye to brain thing doesn't work out. But also, I just want to talk on a little note that like with voting, I know within my school I took a civics class, and I love that class. And I took it my senior year, I believed it was one of our graduation requirements, but a lot of times students take it when they're sophomores. And I know, like, we had to run our own campaign in that class, and a lot of students weren't motivated because they felt like they were so far away from voting that they feel like it didn't matter what they did in the class, or they would be wondering why certain things mattered. And also I found that a lot of people would blindly follow people running for different positions in government just because of social media and like the coverage that one person got, because of kind of who they are, like a joke they said. Like they would blindly follow them without actually going into their beliefs and what they wanted to implement into the government. And so I always just felt like it's so important. Like if you have the right to vote, it's so important to educate yourselves and vote, not blindly follow just because of media culture, if that makes sense. Like in light of everything going on, there's other ways to create change, enact change, and that's through voting and electing officials that stand by what you believe. They create the change for us, and we put them in that place to be able to do that. So that's why I think it's so important to educate yourselves and get out there and vote, because we can be so mad at the state of the world, but we have the power to change it. And that's just something that I think we really need to teach like everyone that votes, but especially young teens and young adults that are starting to vote as well, how important it is to vote. But that's my little tangent. Next, I'm going to be talking with Sierra, so I'm going to add her in and I'm going to get chatting with her. Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I am doing well. So I've heard that one of your idols is, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, yes, you're correct.
Okay. So what about her inspires you?
I think as an aspiring attorney, going into the work field of law, it's super important to have influences like Justice Ruth, where she advocated for social acceptance and racial discrimination. She thought that women acceptance was the most important thing, and especially going into that work field, I now feel more comfortable going into there and feeling like, okay, this is a place where I feel respected and there's equity within this work field. So that's exactly why I feel so inspired by her.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So with Justice Ruth being your idol, you want to be an appointed like Supreme Court justice, correct?
Yes.
So like how are you going to reach that goal?
Well, right now I'm actually studying political science and philosophy as well, because I think it's important to understand why people do the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I just graduated, I'm just a sophomore, so I just graduated, and I'm super excited to go to law school. And actually what inspired me to do this is I come from a family of attorneys. So it's super nice to kind of get a little step up and make
Mm-hmm.
a bigger and greater change on a larger level.
Oh, that's awesome. So you said that are you in high school or in college?
I just turned 19, but while I was in high school, I took college classes, so I just graduated with my associates. So I'm trying to graduate early, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations with
Thank
that.
you so much.
So is there anything else in this realm of like work you want to do that you want to share with us?
I think another aspect that I want to do while in law school is do business law and kind of incorporate that, because I think that's something that really connects us as a whole. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do in your life, you're paying for something, you're incorporated in business. So I always think that that's a great and positive way, because I know there's a lot of negativity that can go with the job. But if you create a positive influence, not only through business, but in helping other people's lives, that's something that I really want to be a part of.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm so like glad that's something that you want to go into. So what's one way, let's say in your community, that you think someone could influence or motivate young adults to get out and register to vote and go out and actually vote?
I think a lot of people get the misconception that younger people just don't care about voting. But I think that's where people are wrong. It has a lot to do with our civic and electoral structure. And I think if people like me in my high school and in my college, people were well informed about how to vote, I think people would be more encouraged to use their voice because it's very powerful. Like when in the electoral system, when we were voting for Obama, it had a lot to do with the young people. So if we could just get out and use our voices and understand how great of a power it is, I think we can make a positive change.
Yes, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing with me and sharing your words of wisdom. And I wish you the best of luck with the rest of schooling. And thanks for
Thank you
chatting
so
with me today.
much.
I'll
Thank
chat
you.
with you later.
Bye.
Well, that was wonderful. I see people talking and Jessley and Misha going back and forth. Yes. I am just so happy I was able to have this conversation with some teens today because I do think it is so important. And I saw somebody comment about that voting has to be more about the importance of the issue rather than popularity, which I completely agree with. I mean, in some ways, I feel as though they go hand in hand. But I think it's so important that we really have to start listening to those that are running and how they want to handle certain issues. I feel like voting is just a way for us to have our thoughts align with those that are running on how we want to handle certain issues. And I don't know, I think there needs to be a point where we teach young students even before like they get close to the age of voting, because I feel like we only talk about the government and voting in high school, but only very briefly. I feel like it needs to be taught more because it is such a big part of our society. And I don't know, I just think it's a very important issue that we just need to talk about on all levels, on local, on state, and on national levels, as Misha said in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching. I urge you guys to get out there to register to vote if you're of age and to go out and vote. It is an election year, so go out, educate yourself, and go out and vote. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll chat with you all soon.